Hello, Biology 202 students. Welcome to today's online lecture. We're diving into the fascinating world of the lymphatic system. This often overlooked system is another crucial vascular network within our bodies, comprising vessels that transport a fluid known as lymph. The lymphatic system acts as a highway for clearing excess fluid from our tissues and plays a vital role in coordinating our immune system and its response. Beyond fluid regulation, it aids in fat absorption, and it helps defend against infections. Get ready to explore how this intricate system works and its importance in maintaining our overall health. Let's begin our journey into the lymphatic system. In today's lecture, we will review the vital functions of the lymphatic system, exploring its role in maintaining fluid balance, supporting the immune system, and facilitating fat absorption. We'll delve into the movement of fluids within the body, understanding how lymph is transported through lymphatic vessels, ensuring that excess fluids are drained from tissues and returned to the bloodstream. We'll also examine the various lymphatic organs such as the lymph nodes, spleen, and thymus, which play crucial roles in the immune response and lymphocyte production. Histologically, we will look at the cellular structures of lymphatic tissues, identifying key components that will help you identify each lymphatic organ. Finally, we'll discuss the clinical relevance of the lymphatic system, including some common pathologies that can affect this essential system. The lymphatic system serves several crucial functions in maintaining the body's homeostasis. One of its primary roles is fluid recovery, where it returns interstitial fluid, which is the fluid that surrounds tissue cells, back to the circulatory system. This process prevents the accumulation of excess fluids in tissues, which can lead to swelling or edema. In terms of immune response, the lymphatic system analyzes lymph fluid, which contains pathogens, foreign particles, and waste products. Lymph nodes filter this fluid and house lymphocytes that detect and respond to infections, thereby playing a key role in the body's defense mechanisms. Additionally, the lymphatic system is involved in lipid absorption. Specialized lymphatic vessels called lacteoles in the intestines absorb digested fats and transport them into the bloodstream. This ensures that essential fats and fat-soluble vitamins are effectively delivered into the body's cells. These combined functions highlight the lymphatic system's importance in fluid balance, immune surveillance, and nutrient absorption. Let's start with the flow of fluid. Here we have a diagram showing our circulatory system supplying blood to some tissues. We get a large amount of oxygen-rich blood coming in from our arteriole and supplying lots of electrolytes, water, proteins, nutrients to these tissues here. So those capillaries are releasing water and proteins and nutrients, and they also absorb some water, proteins, and nutrients, but they do not absorb as much as they release. So here in the capillary bed, more water is being released than absorbed. That water would just accumulate and cause edema or swelling in that area. However, we have the lymphatic system, which has vasculature that drains this excess fluid. So the fluid that is in the cells here and in this space here is interstitial fluid. And that will all be collected into these lymphatic ducts. Here's a little more complicated view of that. Again, we have our capillary bed with our tissue here. You can see the cells, and then our lymph capillaries. And those are draining away that interstitial fluid, or the fluid around the cells. And so you can see here it's flowing into that capillary bed, in through those endothelial flaps. And then you can also appreciate this valve here. So just like the veins, we have valves in the lymph system that help prevent backflow. You can see here a depiction of a lymph node, which are essential components of the lymphatic system, with hundreds of them distributed throughout the body. These nodes function as filtering stations for lymph fluid. which enters through afferent vessels. Within the lymph nodes, lymphocytes and macrophages work to clean the lymph by identifying and destroying pathogens, such as bacteria and viruses, and removing debris and foreign particles. Once the lymph is filtered, it exits the lymph node through the efferent vessels, continuing its journey through the lymphatic system. This filtration process not only helps maintain fluid balance, but also enhances the body's immune defense by ensuring that harmful substances are effectively neutralized before the lymph rejoins the circulatory system. The flow of lymph begins in the lymphatic capillaries, where there are tiny close-ended tubes found in most body tissues. These capillaries absorb extra fluid from the spaces between cells. This fluid, now called lymph, contains water, proteins, fats, salts, immune cells like T cells and B cells, macrophages, dendritic cells, waste products, pathogens, hormones, and enzymes. Lymphatic vessels, which are larger tubes, transport the lymph from the capillaries. These vessels have one-way valves that ensure lymph flows only in one direction, preventing it from moving backwards. These valves are essential for maintaining the flow of lymph, as there is no central pump like the heart to push it along. As lymph travels through the vessels, it passes through lymph nodes, where it is filtered and checked by immune cells. After lymph passes through the lymph nodes, it continues to flow through larger vessels. The lymph then continues to flow through larger lymphatic trunks. On the right side of the body, lymph from the right side, right arm, right side of the face and head, and thorax drain into the right lymphatic duct, which empties into the right subclavian vein. On the left side, the lymph from the rest of the body is collected by the thoracic duct, which then drains into the left subclavian vein. This entire journey ensures that excess interstitial fluid is returned to the bloodstream, maintaining fluid balance and contributing to the immune response. Major regions where lymph nodes are concentrated include the popliteal, behind the knee, inguinal, groin area, axillary, armpits, and cervical, neck regions. These nodes play key roles in filtering lymph from specific areas of the body before it re-enters the circulatory system. The histology of a lymph node shows that it has two main parts: the cortex and the medulla. The cortex is the outer part of the lymph node. It has many B cells, which are grouped into round structures called nodules or follicles. These B cells multiply and change in response to antigens. Deeper in the cortex is the paracortex, or deep cortex, which has many T cells. This area is important for T cell activation and function. And then we get the medulla, the inner part of the lymph node. It has medullary cords and sinuses. The medullary cords are full of macrophages, which eat pathogens and debris, helping to clean the lymph. The medullary sinuses are channels that let lymph flow through the hilum. The hilum is an indented area on the concave side of the lymph node, where the lymphatic vessels exit. It also has blood vessels that give nutrients and oxygen to the lymph node. The spleen is located in the upper left part of the abdomen, just below the diaphragm and next to the stomach. This organ plays several important roles in both the circulatory and immune systems. In children, the spleen helps make red blood cells. In adults, it mainly serves as a storage and filter for blood cells. The spleen has two main types of tissue: red pulp and white pulp. Red pulp is the area often called the red blood cell grave because it breaks down and recycles old or damaged red blood cells. The red pulp also has sinusoids filled with blood and can produce red blood cells in case of severe anemia. The white pulp is the area which is full of lymphocytes and macrophages, which check the blood for foreign antigens. The white pulp is organized around central arteries and looks like lymphoid nodules, similar to lymph nodes. The spleen is vital for filtering blood, immune response, storing blood components, and producing blood cells. So, filtering blood, it removes old and damaged red blood cells and recycles iron. For immune response, the white pulp detects and responds to pathogens in the blood, similar to lymph nodes. Storing blood components, it basically acts as a reservoir for red blood cells and platelets. And then it also helps produce red blood cells in children and adults under certain conditions like severe anemia. Here you can see a portion of some red pulp, and over here is some white pulp. And just over here you can see a little artery. And here's another. The thymus is an important organ located in the upper front part of the chest, just behind the sternum and between the lungs. The thymus is divided into lobes, each with two main parts, the cortex and the medulla. The cortex has many developing T cells that undergo training to learn to recognize the body's own cells and foreign invaders. The T stands for thymocyte. The medulla contains many mature T cells that multiply and get ready to join the immune system. The thymus is the main place that T cells mature. Immature T cells are made in the bone marrow and then move into the thymus to mature. Here they are tested to make sure they can recognize self-antigens, ensuring that T cells that might attack the body's own tissues are removed, preventing autoimmune diseases. The thymus is large and very active during childhood, helping to build a strong immune system. However, it shrinks with age, reducing in size and function, but still leaves a lasting impact by producing T cells for life. Here is a thymus histology section. You can see all of the different lobules, and you can see the color difference between the cortex and the medulla. There's also the interlobular septum here, and surrounding the whole organ is a capsule. Now, if you look very closely here, you can see a white little circle, and that is a Hassel's corpuscle. The precise function of Hassel's corpuscles is not entirely understood, but they are believed to play a role in the maturation and education of T cells. Next are tonsils. Tonsils are tissues in your throat that help your body fight off illnesses. They capture germs that enter through your mouth and nose. And specifically, there are 3 types. So here are the 3 types here. Just take a look at these images. And there is a highlighted region here, here, and here. So let's walk through these. First, we have the one on the very back of the soft palate. So here's your hard palate, and here's your soft palate. And it's just laterally to those. This is called your palatine tonsils. Now, these tonsils can help you detect and fight infections from the food you ingest. Next, we have the tonsils found in your pharyngeal area. So these are called the pharyngeal tonsils. And then these are posterior to the tongue, and the tongue helps us speak languages. So these are our lingual tonsils. Each type of tonsil is part of your immune system, and they work together to protect you from infections at the surfaces inside your mouth and throat. Some common illnesses or pathologies that can happen are tonsillitis. This is when your tonsils get inflamed because of an infection. It can make your throat sore and swallowing painful. You might also have a fever and swollen glands on your neck, and those would be the lymph nodes. Tonsil stones are another type of pathology. These are small, hard deposits that form in the tonsils. They can cause bad breath, a sore throat, and feeling like something is stuck in your throat. They can sometimes be removed at home or by a doctor. This is a tonsil under the microscope. And you can see here these round areas. These are called lymphatic nodules. These are small, round areas within the tonsils filled with lymphocytes, mainly B cells. These cells are crucial for fighting infections. The nodules act like tiny factories where immune responses are triggered, and B cells turn into powerful germ fighters. In these nodules, you'll find areas called germinal centers where B cells multiply and change to better attack invaders. Over here you can see a gap. This is one of the tonsillar crypts. These are deep folds on the surface of the tonsils that help increase their contact with the air and food passing through your throat. They capture germs and other particles, and the walls of these crypts are lined with types of skin cells called stratified squamous epithelium, which is packed with lymphocytes ready to fight infections. The lymphatic system plays an important role in absorbing lipids from the digestive system. After fats are broken down by the intestines, they are converted into small molecules called chylomicrons. These chylomicrons enter the lymphatic vessels, specifically the lacteals, in the small intestine. The lymphatic system then transports these lipids through the lymph fluid, eventually delivering them into the bloodstream. This process ensures that the dietary fats are effectively absorbed and distributed throughout the body for energy, storage, and cell function. Now that we've covered all of the tissues for this lab, we can talk about some of the pathologies we find. We already covered this, but tonsils can be infected or inflamed, leading to tonsillitis. The spleen can become enlarged, which is called splenomegaly. Lymphomas are cancers of the lymphocytes, one of the white blood cells we have already covered. Lymphatic vessels can also have issues. Lymphatic filariasis is a disease caused by parasitic worms, which can lead to elephantitis, a condition causing severe swelling. Lymphedema happens when lymph nodes or vessels are damaged, removed, or scarred, causing swelling in the limbs. Thank you for listening to today's lecture, and I'll talk to you later.